All right, guys, today we are going to be reacting to how is Germany the richest country in Europe. We have not debated, but we have watched multiple videos signaling or showing why Germany is the richest country in Europe. But most importantly, guys, we're going to see this video. I will need you guys to subscribe to my channel, share, and comment. That way you guys can help me out growing my channel. Let's just get to that 10,000 subscribers first. That 5,000 subscribers, let's lock that one in, and then let's get to that 10,000. Let's jump in.
Making this video, Germany's GDP is estimated to be around 4.2 trillion US dollars. This amount of money is hard to comprehend. However, it is still less than the combined market cap of the two most valuable brands on the planet, Apple and Saudi Aramco, whose total market cap is valued at 5 trillion US dollars. An economy size of 4.2 trillion makes Germany the fourth richest country in the world when looking at this
even bigger than the United Kingdom.
Of course, this does not reflect individual wealth, but the wealth of the value of all finished goods and services made within Germany during a specific period. Only Japan, China, and the USA have a larger economy. Each have a population 1.5, 16.6, and 4 times larger respectively. So just how is Germany the richest country in Europe? Well, Germany is an economic powerhouse. It sits in the middle of Europe, is a founding member of the EU, and is the second most populated country on the continent, only behind Russia, which kind of cheats by sitting in 2 continents. Only the Dutch work fewer hours among the 34 members of the OECD, which contains 38 countries from around the world. That German children spend 25% less time in the classroom than their Italian counterparts.
Wow.
And that there are 6 more
That is crazy, didn't know that.
time in the classroom than their Italian counterparts, and that there are 6 more productive economies in Europe alone. And yet Germany still has the strongest economy in Europe. So first things first, let's take a look at how Germany compares to other European countries in terms of GDP. So the UK sits just below them with 3.1 trillion, next is France at 2.9 trillion, Italy at 2.1 trillion, and then Russia at 1.6 trillion US dollars. However, it must be noted that due to the sanctions from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, it is likely that Russia's economy size is actually much lower than this figure.
Wow,
so
really?
Germany comfortably takes the crown as the richest country by GDP on the continent. In 2016, Germany recorded the highest trade surplus in the world, worth over $300 billion.
And that right there, guys, right there, that's the magic of Germans. Right there, guys. They're very good with numbers, they're very good with the engineering, and they're very good at knowing where's the flaw. And it's interesting because Europe, right, you have Germans. Germanic tribe has been going around Europe for years. And I'm surprised that a lot of these nations have not caught up to the idea that maybe we need to just check in Germany, see what's going on. Hey, maybe we need to just be closer to them. I mean, GDP, like says, it doesn't really determine the wealth per individual unless you want to just divide that number per head of household or head of per count. But comparing to India comparing to the United Kingdom, which was an empire, basically they were an empire. They still kind of are in some ways, right? Weirdly an empire. They still have the crown, the Commonwealth, and all that stuff, you know. And it's very interesting to see that aside. By the way, after the 2 wars, they still managed to get up.
This economic result made it the biggest capital exporter globally. Germany is one of the largest exporters in the world, with around $2 trillion worth of goods and services exported in 2019. The automotive industry gross production value in Germany accounts for roughly 500 billion euros in total sales. In 2019, around 3.5 million vehicles were exported, which was around 20% of all exported cars in the world. The industry employs around 800,000 people within Germany, and accounts for around 10% of the total national GDP.
There you go.
German cars are known
Gorgeous
around
cars,
the world
man.
for their quality and value. Brands such as BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and Porsche are some of the most prestigious brands in the world. With a revenue of $278 billion in 2019, Volkswagen is Germany's biggest company. It is the 133rd most valuable brand at a market cap of around $105 billion. However, what blows my mind is that a company of this caliber is still 27 times smaller in terms of market cap than the most valuable
That is
company,
funny.
Apple, at around $2.7 trillion
That's in New York,
at the time
right?
of making this video. So Germany's GDP
Brooklyn, I think
makes
it was.
them the richest country in Europe, but as mentioned earlier, this does not reflect the wealth of its citizens. Let's look at the USSR as an example. It was an extremely wealthy empire, but the everyday citizens who lived in it were very poor. So instead,
Wow.
let's take a look at GDP per capita of seeing the true wealth.
I did not know that. I did not know that. I did not know that a lot of the USSR had that much money, but then the countrymen, countrywomen were poor. I didn't know that.
Of citizens. For this, Germany ranks 17th in the world and actually 12th in Europe. So not bad, but certainly not as good as where their total GDP ranks them. It must be noted, however, that some of the nations that rank above Germany are incredibly small, such as San Marino and Luxembourg, whose populations are 34,000 and 642,000 respectively. So it's not a fair comparison for a country who has 84 million. However, these stats do not lie, and although Germany is a financial powerhouse, its citizens on average aren't so much compared to other countries around them. When it comes to average salaries, Germany ranks 11th in the world
Wow,
and 8th
really?
in Europe at just under $54,000
Wow.
or 50,000 euros. So again, not bad, but not the best. When it comes to enormous wealth, Germany has the fourth highest amount of billionaires in the world at around 134. Only India, China and the US have more. This means that there are around 3 billionaires per 2 million people in Germany.
Wow.
At around 3 million, Germany has the fourth most billionaires in the world,
Wow.
only behind Japan, China and the USA. This means Germany is responsible for over 5% of all millionaires in the world.
Wow.
There is absolutely no doubt that Germany has benefited greatly from the euro. By getting into bed with more sluggish economies in southern Europe, Germany adopted a much weaker currency than would otherwise have been the case. As one of the very few countries in the world running a balance of payments surplus, the Deutschmark would have been a great deal stronger than the euro. However,
Wow,
this
really?
has provided a terrific boost to German exports.
Well, at
which
the
are
same
cheaper
thing,
to overseas.
yeah, but then you would not have the partnership or just simply just trading freely. It will be a little bit harder.
Consumers as a result. But this goes only some way to explaining Germany's current economic might. Just as important are the relative low levels of private debt. While the rest of Europe gorged on cheap credit throughout the 1990s and noughties, German companies and individuals refused to spend beyond their means. In German, borrowing is Schulden, which is the same word for guilt. There is an attitude that if you have to borrow, there is something wrong with you. This has been particularly beneficial to Germany in recent years. Unlike its European counterparts, consumers and businesses did not need to slash spending to cut their debt levels when banks stopped lending during the 2008 crash and recession. Germany is pretty much positioned to become
and that shows you
astronomically wealthy.
when something like a 2008 happens, if you're a country like Germany, you're good. Hey, you're good. You already have the wealth. You have the wealth and almost no debt. And your citizens are okay.
Germany is centrally situated in Europe, has access to the sea, and has great river connections. Germany can service markets across Europe from its central location. Germany also has access to both iron and coal, which means it can make steel and generate power without having to import anything.
Super
the
important.
Germans have a fairly homogeneous culture, barring a lot of immigrants from Turkey in the post-war era. That culture stresses value of hard work, thrift, education, and collective action, a perfect combination for creating successful companies and industries. The Germans came out of World War II with a destroyed infrastructure, but a lot of smart people. With the help of the Marshall Plan, they were able to rebuild the infrastructure, and the smart people worked with great diligence to restore their material wealth. Germany had a pre-war reputation for making high-quality goods, and German companies traded on that reputation in the post-war era, making things like cars, industrial equipment, chemicals, and electronical goods. The German people have had a very stable political system since the war too. When reunification became possible, the West Germans mobilized quickly to make it happen and deployed a lot of money to smooth the transition. There was relatively little objection in German society to the reunification, even though it was quite expensive. So to summarize, Germany is a resource-rich, geographically central country with a large population who
82
have
million,
the right
bro.
values.
Yo, that's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people. Can I imagine having 82 million people in the state of Wisconsin? I would be seeing people just walking outside my window.
To be successful and with a political system that is very stable. Thank you for watching, and we will see.
Impressive, man. Good information. I'm telling you, if we had 82 million people in the state of Wisconsin, bro, that would be packed outside. Wow. Impressive, bro. Impressive. I mean, I'm telling you, man, this is the worst fear of a lot of countries. Having a 2008 crash and your country not able to recover or bounce out of that, because you don't have the means. You are borrowed so much that you have no income. So, well, let me know what you guys think, guys. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.